friends, this is Carly and I'm back today with another review. Today I'm looking at another indie comic and this one is from ALFRED PAIGE, who reached out to me on Facebook and he shared with me his comic called C.H.E.S.S. And C.H.E.S.S stands for, I'm looking over so I don't get it wrong here, Command Headquarters of Espionage and Strategic Strikes. So just for transparency's sake, as usual, I want to let you know that Alfred sent me the first 2 issues of C.H.E.S.S in exchange for my honest review, and that is what I'm going to be giving you today. So right off the bat, C.H.E.S.S is a high-flying, hardcore action drama. It is about an elite team of fighters, which I love, and there are elements that really are sort of remind me of X-Men. So there's a cyborg type character, there's an actual android, there is a character with psychokinetic powers, there are weapons specialists and samurai. There's all different kinds of action-based heroes, which is really, really cool. And it makes for a really dynamic start to the story, but the story itself is what really excited me and brought me into this world. So the story is about a businessman, a really high-powered businessman and arms dealer named Nakadai. And Nakadai has created these high-tech weapons that he sells to whoever can afford them. And that includes governments, organizations, underground people, villains, heroes, whoever has the money to buy them. But what makes these unique is that he has equipped every single piece of equipment, whether it's a weapon, a communications device, anything that he sells is equipped with a kill switch that he can initiate at any time. So you can imagine the turmoil this could cause. But despite people eventually becoming aware of the kill switch that Nakadai has attached to all of his products, they still buy it because it's the most technologically advanced and it's worth having. They'll take the risk and hope that he doesn't decide to kill their operation. So I just thought this was such an original, creative concept. The fact that there's one person who the balance of power is so skewed in favor of right off the bat makes it really apparent that the people on the elite force that we are on the side of, C.H.E.S.S, have to be incredibly strong and powerful. So that really sets up a great precedent for the types of characters that we're going to be looking at. So as I said, there are a number of different abilities that each character has. I'm not going to go through each character and their names, and there's a specific reason for that. While every character is named and introduced, this was a 28-page book, and there were a lot of characters. So even by the time we got to the end, it was difficult to remember everyone. It was still a lot of people to introduce in a kind of small amount of time, although everybody had their own action and their moments in play. And as I got into the second issue, we get to know everybody a little bit better. It was important that we were introduced to them, I think, but it was still just sort of a lot of information in a little space. So it was kind of difficult for me to keep track of all of the characters, but the story itself made wonderful sense and cruised right along, and I really enjoyed the story and was really excited by it. Moving on to the dialogue. The dialogue is exactly what you would expect for a story like this. So I had literally, for the writing of the first issue, I had absolutely no issues with anything whatsoever. It was perfectly written. It feels like this person, like Alfred, had been writing this type of book forever. And so I really, really loved the writing. It sucked me in. The language made sense. It was a little dialogue heavy in some places, but that's because there were moments where it was communications in the middle of a mission between members of the team, and there was a lot to be said. So I didn't have a problem with the times where the dialogue was a little bit heavy and that wasn't consistent throughout the book. I did feel when I read the second issue, though, and I'm not sure because I don't have the cover of the first issue, it really felt like while the second issue was really good and an excellent continuation of the story, it felt like someone else wrote it, and I couldn't escape that feeling. There was nothing wrong with the dialogue. Again, it was a nice, tight story. The way that people spoke made sense, although I noticed that the cadences of language and the types of language that people used that a character used in the first issue wasn't consistent with the second issue. They spoke a little bit differently. So I really had this strange sense that I was reading the same story sort of written by two different people, and I'm not 100% sure if that's the case or not. That said, it was all still really good. So, I mean, I don't know. It was just a unique thing that I've never really come across before, and kind of stood out to me. The artwork in this book is absolutely spectacular. Let's look. I'm going to scroll through so I can give you. So the pencils were done by William Allen Reyes. The ink was done by Jesse Hansen. Colors by Splash Colors and Yuan Katra. And then let's see. Cover A was done by Netho Diaz. And the cover A colors were Tommy Shelton. I'm sorry, Netho Diaz did pencils. So there's a lot of artists that work on this, but the interiors are absolutely spectacular. And I'm going to try to show you using scrolling through on my tablet because I wasn't able to get this on my phone and it was just too dense in color to print. But hopefully you can sort of see how incredible, how full these pages are, how amazing the artwork is. The colors are beautiful, the action is tight, the artwork is stunning, and they make really great use of the entire page. So there are pages where every square inch has something going on. The panels move forward and there's action within the panels, but on one page there is the background is a blood splatter that goes all the way through the background. Or another page, the action is taking place outside in a storm, and so the rain is coming down behind the panels. I absolutely loved that. Complete, well-rounded art. So the artwork, again, is absolutely stunning on both of the books. There is a different lettering style in the second issue, and I think that that also contributed to my feeling that maybe somebody else had written the first and the second. But again, it was really good. So while that did sort of take me out a little bit and distract me, it didn't ruin the story for me. So in the second issue, once we find out what's going on, and our characters set out after Nakadai, then in the second issue, we get some real strong action, and it's really expertly done. There aren't a lot. I love action comics, and when you're reading an action comic, there isn't room for fat. There isn't room for, and I know I use that phrase a lot because I think it's the best way to describe a really good meaty story is as if it were a piece of steak. The better the steak, the less fat there is. You know, you trim the fat off and the better the cut of meat, and that's how I feel about the story. So this one was a lot lighter on dialogue. This is action happening, and we're actually watching the fight. And it culminates in a pretty intense cliffhanger that I'm really looking forward to seeing the resolution to. So as far as the overall vibe of this story, I would say that it really has an X-Men Avengers vibe to it. It is an assembled team, some with superpowers, some who are just excellent at their craft, and they're coming together against a really formidable foe. The creativity of this plot, of this villain, is above and beyond. I could not have been happier with the concept for this story, and I was just really impressed overall with the way that Alfred put this together. So again, the book is called C.H.E.S.S. Apogee, Apogee, I think, is the publisher, but I'm going to give you a link to the Facebook page if you'd like to order the first issue of the book. And I have to thank Alfred for reaching out to me. This was really a treat to read. I will be ordering the book myself and looking forward to future volumes and issues that are to come in the future. I can't wait to see what happens. And I think that this team has potential to really expand. I noticed that there is a book with one of the characters coming out, and I think that that just shows the potential for the future of this as a series and as, a divided, having each character have their own adventures and stories. I think there is just enormous potential for that, which is amazing to see in an independently created book. So that is my review today of C.H.E.S.S. Thank you guys so much for watching. Alfred Paige, thank you so much for letting me read your book. I can't wait to share the links. I can't wait to see more. And I look forward to hearing from everyone about what you think of the book once you read it. If you are an independent comic creator, please email me at annoyingyouwithfriendship@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to read your book and give my honest review here on my website. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. I'll see you soon, friends. Bye.